This is a quick review of how to create a macro to format a spreadsheet. To create a macro, you're going to benefit from having spreadsheet setups, such as your top row being frozen, wrap text in the header, justify column widths, and apply filters. Once you create it, you're going to use it over and over. Save time, big time. And we're going to start here. I just have a TLC demo file open. You can use any FTE report from the data collector. Now, I want to point out first here that in Excel, I don't appear to have something called the quick access toolbar. So I'm going to click File, Options, and in this pop-up window, click Quick Access Toolbar. There's a box here to check, and that will now appear. I can position it in the ribbon above it or below. I'm going to say above and click OK. So now there's a few tools there. We're going to need this icon in a little bit. To begin creating a macro from the View tab, I'm going to select the down arrow under Macros way off to the right and select Record Macro. Then you'll see a macro name. You can leave this default or name it however you want. Here now you need to pick a shortcut key if you like to trigger it with a shortcut. I'm going to go with the letter M for macro. You pick something, but don't pick something common. Other control commands like Control A, Control C, or V, those are used already. Select Personal Macro Workbook and click OK. The macro is now recording. We see a box down there at the bottom left, and you will go ahead and get started by selecting the top row. So I'm going to click the 1 on the first row. From the View tab, which we are on already, select Freeze Panes. When I get the drop down, I'm going to freeze top row. So this macro is recording all my clicks basically, and those settings. And now I'm going to go to the Home tab and select Wrap Text. There we go. And it applies it to that first row so I could see it in action. Next, I'm going to click at the top left corner. You can call it the triangle. I've heard it called the magic box. What it does is select the whole spreadsheet, and you're going to place your cursor in between any two column headers and double click. That double click now justifies all the columns. And now from the Home tab, which we're still on, click the Sort and Filter. And I'm going to pick the word filter. So now I've applied filters to this spreadsheet. I'm going to go down here to this bottom left corner and click that open box that's it. I'm done recording the macro, but I'm not completely finished. So let's make that macro easily accessible. I will make the macro a quick link. If I click up here in the quick access toolbar, which I turned on at the beginning of this, I need to click and pick more commands. In the choose commands from that drop down here on the left, I'm going to pick macros. And there's my macro. I had the name macro 1. So select it and add. And it's now in the bank on the right. Before I leave here, though, I'm going to click Modify and pick an icon I like. I'm going to click this because I feel like this saves me time, but you pick whatever icon you like. Click OK, and now that icon appears at the top. So clicking it puts it in, takes it off first because I had it on, and then puts it back in action, turning it on. And if you ever need to, you can right click on the icon and remove it from the toolbar. That's up to you. We aren't going to do that now because we need to make sure this is available in the future. So when I exit Excel, again, this was a demo file. I'm not worried. I didn't do any changes. But if I come up here to the right, it's asking if I want to save changes to that file. Sure, I really didn't do anything. Save. And that can go where I want it to go. That's fine. I already had this file. But the second part's what's really important. Do I want to save the changes I made to the personal macro workbook? Yes, I definitely want that. So anytime I open any spreadsheet, I'm going to be able to use that macro. So if you ever need to delete it, there are a few extra steps. So I'm going to return to this. And this is a prompt because of where I got my demo file. I'm not going to convert. So I'm going to have to go to a new or the existing spreadsheet. I can select unhide from the View tab. So let's go View. Unhide. That took a little while. And if this is selected, and I can click OK. And to delete on a blank spreadsheet here, this is open. We see that listed at the top. Select macros from the View tab. So I'll go to View, Macros, so it's way over to the right. And then I will prompt the macro prompt, select the macro to be deleted. There we go. I had to click macros, not the drop-down arrow, macro name, and then over here to the right, I can click delete. Am I sure I want to delete it? Yes, for this time. So that concludes how to create, add it to your quick access toolbar, and delete a macro.